everyone. Dave here with Affordable Door and Gate. I hope you're doing well. So let's just start off. This is not legal advice. This is not financial advice. This is entertainment purposes only. So I will not see you in court. Got it? Good. Anyways, so Porter says, been a long time viewer of the channel. Appreciate that. I'm thinking of getting into the field, starting my own garage door business. I wondered when you first started out, what kind of licenses did you have, and what did you do for insurance? He says, I'm sure Michigan's different than Wisconsin. I agree. Every state's different, but let's get into it. So where do I start? Okay, so this rabbit hole can go pretty deep. We're going to compress this as much as we can into a video. So here's the thing that you have to remember, and this is just my opinion. I would love to hear my seasoned vets, people that have started their own businesses, comment below. So here's the thing. I personally believe that we are brainwashed from the system, from the man. Okay, so here's an example. If you're going to do residential, residential is the easiest department to do. Commercial, obviously that's a little different. Residential, out of the 18 years I've done this, I have never had to use it once. I never had to use my insurance. I have never had to prove any kind of documentation. Nothing. It's called how fast can you get here and what's the price? That's all. That's all. How fast? What's the price? And honestly, if I was just starting out, I would probably just start playing in the water first. And that might not be 100%. I'm sure that's going to ruffle the feathers on some of those people out there. But here's why. If you start into it, for one, you're broke. You know what I mean? So realistically, I always recommend that you basically have a full-time job, and maybe this is something, and a lot of people don't believe me, but you better get used to it now. Tons and tons of sacrifice. After hours, gone. Weekends, gone. And it takes years, like I said, to get this thing up and running. So start out small. Start doing it after hours. Hey, I can do it, between 5 or whatever. I'll do it on the weekend. People love that kind of stuff. They really do. They eat it up because it's like they're going to be home. So start out small, because once you realize you start getting into it, you might go, you know what? I'm not really liking this. This isn't. So now you already started an insurance plan. You already started other things. You guys that are seasoned vets understand this picture. Walk in the beam, right? I know you guys have experienced this, where the crane is right in the perfect way of the garage door. Never fails. So anyways, I look at a lot of this as you really need to use common sense, right? You go in somebody's house, you go into their garage. Make sure, if you can take the car out of there and get it parked on the road or get it away so it's not your problem liability. That's very important. I look at a lot of this like you need to just go out there. I see so many people, and I've talked to so many of you guys, that will just hold yourself back because you think you got to have the business name. You think you got to have the business cards. You think you got to have the truck, the wife, the kids, the house, the perfect kitchen sink. When all you got to do is you just need to go out there and start cranking a wrench. And that's all it is. You were designed, you don't realize this, but you were designed by the government as a business. That's why you have a social security number. It's your tax ID number. There's a nice, I don't know the video, but there's a video out there that explains this, that there's a docket, and that's why there's the birth certificate. It's very just like the shippings. And you're already a business. Your name is a business. You can have people write you checks, right? Yes, maybe you'll have to do legal stuff. I'm not an accountant and all that kind of stuff. But go out there. Have them sign it to John Doe, whoever, the business, whatever your name is, have them do it. Just get started. I was surprised all those years. I never had people call me out on vehicles. They don't care. They want their stuff fixed at a cheap rate. And that's why sometimes in the business, us longtime vet guys and stuff like that, we're challenged in some degree, right? Because there's always going to be that trunk slammer that's gonna beat you eventually, to some degree. Now, once you start getting it and you kind of build a business that can sustain itself, but it's super duper hard. So I always want people to go out there and experience it, because when you go on the other side of the fence, it's a different animal dealing with wages and taxes, and you got to be a real big boy and make sure you take care of this stuff. It's not undoable by any means, but hopefully you got a good system behind you. You got a good wife that supports you. You got somebody that's going to help you financially with the stuff of it. Maybe you got to get somebody that's going to support you with money wise. Just go out there, do it. And what you'll realize, you'll start getting blowback on things when you start going and doing maybe that little bit of commercial or something, and somebody goes, hey, we gotta, and let me get into this. What I wanted to mention on some of this is what I was thinking about it. I have done jobs. I gotten kind of caught up in this. It's happened to me personally, and you can sometimes jump into a job. Make sure there's clear expectations, right? Hey, I'm going to ask for 50% down. I'm going to ask for the full remaining. Open those avenues. Don't be scared to ask those, because if you get into something that's maybe a little out of your range and you test the waters, what I don't want to happen is you do this job 100% with any kind of money, right? And you get done with it and they go, oh, we're going to need you to submit, your proof of insurance and this before we pay you out. Because I'd rather just stop that rate from the get-go and say, oh, well, here's the thing. I don't have any at the moment. I can get some, depending on the customer and if you want to build a relationship with them. But just remember that, everything you bring into your life, everything, phone, vehicle, power tool, everything requires maintenance. It requires your attention. It requires love. It requires recharging. And it starts to drown you. So you just gotta, I just go out there, start making a few bucks, seeing if you like how the people react to you, start learning just anything. If you can do it after hours, you can do it the weekends, and you're going to get some and you're going to lose some. Don't be afraid. This is a very long process. And like I said, we'll get into it. So with it being a long process, I've mentioned this before. They say businesses typically within 5 years, then you're doing pretty good. That wasn't the case with me. It was probably at least over 10 years before I kind of got the ball rolling, right? And then even within 10 years, and listen to what I'm saying. I know some of you guys are kind of, like my kids, 10 years, right? You can't even, oh my gosh, 3 months is forever. 10 years. After 10 years, still hustling and grinding hard, working every other Sunday, or if not every. You gotta remember, until I got about maybe 15, 16 years in, this stuff started rolling on itself, and that's why I always stress to you guys sometimes, you might want to, because this truck right here, where my mouse is over, this was one of the trucks by an employee, right? After I kind of, you get things built going, that ransacked, he stole everything out of this truck. And these things can be really crushing. These are thousands of dollars, that you're losing. So there's a lot of liability. So starting out, just stay small, keep it all, just start out real easy and make sure it's something you like and you keep growing into it. Really try to stay out of debt. Try not to do any financing. I was kind of blessed in a sense because I was literally going through a divorce, and my ex decided not to pay on her student loan debt, which is a great reminder for you guys that are young bucks out there. Do not co-sign for anything. Listen to Uncle Dave. Do not co-sign for anything. I don't care how much you love her. I don't care how pretty she is. I don't care that the financial benefit of you guys is going to be great. Do not co-sign on those student loans. A lot of people don't realize with student loan debt, it's owned by the government. The government will not be bankrupt on. You cannot bankrupt student loan debt. So you have to think of this. So luckily for me, since she wasn't paying, it ruined my credit in a sense at the time, even though I was paying everything I was supposed to pay. I couldn't get a loan for nothing. So everything bought with cash and lots of labor and lots of some good people and lots of some not so good people. So it's a slow process depending on how you want to do it. You can take out the loans, but remember you're paying the piggy banks. The banks are making a money off you, and sometimes it's hard to keep your head above water. So kind of in a nutshell, yes, certain townships and stuff like that will require you once they catch on. Like I said, sometimes it's better to do and ask for forgiveness afterwards, because if you go in there, which I've done many a times with multiple businesses, that when you go in there and you say, hey, what am I supposed to do? They go, oh, well, you got to have this, and you got to have your building, and you got to have a handicap spot, and you got to have fire protection, and you got to have all this stuff up to code. They will drown you. You won't even be in business. You will not even be in business. So sometimes you have to do city permits and stuff like that, and you'll find out. Like I said, right now, you stay small, keep it all. And then, some of the building permits, I took a building class, so I already had it. But in that building class, I still remember very vividly when the painter said, why do I got to be in here and have my license and the drywall guy doesn't? This stuff is all weird. Supposedly it was going to change. I don't know if it did, but you'll be fine. Long as you do what you say you're going to do, you basically, in a nutshell, self-insure. You break somebody's windshield in their garage, right? You dent it, whatever. Man up and fix it for them. Pay for it. We had an old guy that ran into one of our trucks, right? And he ended up taking care of it all, because he knew he messed up. I was willing to obviously pay for it. I was going to take care of it because it was a nicer van that we had. But things just happen, when they happen. And when they do, you just have to fess up and you have to take care of it. You don't have to have all this, perfect insurance and stuff like that. Unless, like I said, you're doing commercial. Commercial's a different animal. They might pay you out 30 days and stuff like that. And starting out, I don't really recommend it because you can't really afford to be out 30 days, out $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, and you probably don't have the working capital to purchase this stuff either, and to provide a good service with good crews and good guys. So don't be afraid. Just go into it. Like I said, right now you can use your name if you need to for the business. And as you progress, start changing things, get things changed up a little bit. You start doing a business. I always recommend leaving it a little piece of advice would be try to do a neutral business name, not your last name or anything like that, because you think about the future. You also might want to do it as something as what I've recommended to a couple of my family members is do it as like an enterprise, because maybe it evolves. Maybe it changes when you start that business. Maybe right here, if you look at the truck, right, it says affordable door and gate. Well, we're not doing affordable roofing, are we? So it's going to be a little weird if things would ever change, or maybe we got into affordable fencing. You know what I mean? So if we were an enterprise, ABC Enterprise, we're kind of a broad. We could grow into whatever. And honestly, most of the time, the people don't care. But they will look at you funny when you're cutting the grass, and then you tell them at the end of the job, I go, hey, you write that check out to affordable door and gate? And they go, but you cut grass. How does that even associate? That looks a little shady, But if it was ABC Enterprise, I can cut grass. I can do concrete. I can do roofing. I can do all kinds of things, right? Because it's what's ABC Enterprise. So just think on a broad scale a little bit. That way, because for me, I didn't know this business was going to grow the way it did. I'm so happy and blessed and lucky that now I get to take vacation. But it's the things I wish I would have known, but that's why I'm here. That's why Uncle Dave's here. You just ask Uncle Dave, and I love making these videos for you. And, Porter, I'm not trying to be hard on you. I'm just I get excited. So I guess in summary, what I'm kind of trying to explain is that you can't figure everything out and then go out there. You're going to get a curveball all the time in business. So realistically, just go out there and just swing. Just keep swinging, and you're going to learn. You're going to learn, ooh, I'm not going to do that again. Ooh, maybe that wasn't such a good idea. Ooh, customer doesn't like this. Ooh, this vendor or this person needs this for insurance and stuff. Hopefully, what you can do, a lot of guys, is for one, you got the box stores. You can get pretty much everything from a box store, right? You go in there just like a normal customer and get everything you need. You want openers, you can do it. You know what I mean? You can promote that. You can sell that. You're going to probably want to grow out of that eventually. So you can get everything you need. You can basically get everything you need, the same thing I can get, right? But mine might be a little bit better. But the customer typically doesn't care. They just want their door to go up and down, especially if you're probably in Wisconsin or Michigan. And so you can do that, right? You can even have the customer buy the stuff if you're nervous, right? And I will do it for an install price of $200-$300, whatever you think your number's worth, right? Insurance is expensive, and until you fully get this thing moving and you start doing commercial and stuff like that, then yes, you got to get that signed up. But in the meanwhile, right, you're still liking it. You're going, man, this is great. I'm really enjoying this. Well, start working on a business name. Start working on getting with either an attorney, or you can do the stuff online now. You can sign up for your own and stuff, and don't focus too hard on it, right? The worst thing that's going to happen, let's say you take somebody's name and they catch on to it locally to you or whatever, right? They might come after you and sue you, and you're going to have to change the name. Big whoopee to doo-dah, right? You've already taken the money. You've already taken it out of the bank account. You've already buried it under the oak tree, in a tin can. It doesn't matter. Just get out there, start getting stuff. Don't worry so much about the license. There's so many people out there that are scammers. And when it comes to residential, I don't mean to pick on them, but they are really dumb. They really are. They don't do no research. Like I said, I've never had anybody pre-qualify me by any stretch of the imagination. It barely ever happened. Not saying they shouldn't, but they will trust a Better Business Bureau or Angie's List or Home Advisor before they'll trust those. You know what I mean? And those people, all they do is take money, right? They don't even check me. You know what I mean? When stuff would happen through them. So my best advice is, just get into it. If you find out that you have to have a certain permit for something, then start working on it and keep doing what you're doing before you got to that point, and just keep hustling. It's really as simple as that. I know it doesn't seem like it. It's scary. But the biggest thing is you got to show up when you say you're going to show up. I got stuff right now I do through Facebook, right? I got people messaging me. I got people texting me for other businesses that don't even, like, they don't know me. They don't know my business, right? Nothing. And, you obviously got to have like the insurance and stuff like that on your vehicles. I mean, that's obvious for DOT, or not so much even DOT. It's just for Johnny Law. You know what I mean? Because if you're running around, you can run around in not a marked vehicle. You could even start putting a magnet sticker on it, which is one of these trucks. Well, both these trucks. The Ford Ranger don't, but the Ford over here does, and the Chevy over here. Those are magnets. We got away from them. We started doing stickers on everything, but you can do stuff real simple. Put it down around the corner if you're nervous about stuff. It's exciting. It really is. It's an adrenaline rush. I just want to say I really, really appreciate the emails. I'm here for you guys. JR even reached out to me today, and we had a nice conversation. And I can't believe how restricted we are. And I just want you guys to go out there and crush it. But I don't want you to invest a lot of money, because you can start something. I've had other business ventures I started, and I just started, right? And I realized, there's a lot of regulations. There's hardly any profit margins in this. So you might get into this and you might start realizing, oh my gosh, my vendor's 2 hours away to go get parts. Oh my gosh, I'm using a box store and their delivery time is really crappy, and I can't even get this. So some things just don't pan out the way you think they should, especially when you do it. You can think about it all day long. Trust me, I've tried planning certain things, and there'll be something that'll be a curveball that'll come in. So You can do whatever you want. You can do all the prepping and stuff you want, but you might just figure out, like I said, logistics don't work. You might not have the right truck. You might not have the right trailer. You might not have the right setup. You're having, you got to get the right tools. There's just so many things that go into it. Maybe you can't find good help. Maybe your geographical area really isn't that dense. Maybe you should start doing a software company of some sort because, wow, I got to travel a long ways because I'm in a rural area. These are things that you'll start realizing and you'll start picking up from customers when they tell you, well, hey, you're $100 or $50 or $200 more than the other guy. And you're like, well, I got to drive, an hour and a half, to get here. And, I got to go here to get this. And so things will all start clicking. And I personally, just to put as a little side note, as of basically February 19th, 2024, I personally would not recommend for anybody to just jump in with both feet right now. Keep your day job, do your little side hustle or whatever you got to do. I think we're still got an economic storm coming. I hope I'm wrong. I hope things are all dandy. I hope interest rates come back down and the money starts flowing. We're going to see a little burst here because tax returns will happen and spring will come in, and we always get a little burst, in the spring. But then I think things are going to taper off again because people are basically broke right now, and residential will be the first one that starts shutting down. And so you might have an advantage to do the stuff on the side to be cheaper than, let's say, me or us bigger guys, because our overhead is a lot more than yours. But you got to just use caution. I jumped in. I was doing it for about a year, and the economy took a tank. I had to go get another job. I mean, at one point with the business, a lot of people don't know this. I was working 3 jobs. Not full time, but part time. I had the full time with Affordable Door and Gate, and I was working 2 part time jobs. So I had about 4 hours of sleep a day. That's what I would get, and I would go work at my other part time jobs, and then the full time job at Affordable Door and Gate. So it's not as easy as what you think. You got to build the relationships. You got to build the network, and it all takes time. So Porter, I appreciate the question. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to me. Some of you have my phone. You can always text me is best. And otherwise, the email that the Daveadubson@gmail.com works really good too. And I surely appreciate all your guys' emails and comments. I love them. So I love seeing what you guys are up to and what's going on. And I appreciate the guys that have been sending me pictures of the job sites and some of their equipment. So that's awesome to see. So with that, you guys, I hope you guys have a great day or night or universe. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye for now.